Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is All of the Foundations of the Earth Are Out of Course. But before I get into the lesson, just wanted to report this brother here is one of the newest members out there. He's in Colombia, Bogota, Colombia. That's Tribu Aser, which is the tribe of Asher, Colombia. And this is his first camp video that he did, which was put up. I don't see a date on here. Let's go to his page. I put that particular video in the description box. This was 4 days ago. All right, so he's been doing videos, different lessons. And pretty much this brother here, he's a, you could say, a professional soccer player, or he's a soccer player that has the ability, or had the ability, or still has the ability to go pro. And, that's a big deal in these, in a lot of different countries around the world, Latin America and different other places. So the brother Yawanathan from the priest Yawanathan out there in the LA camp in California was kicking it with the brother, and the brother told him about the ability to go pro. And they talked. He told me he didn't try to convince the brother of anything. He just showed him the scriptures. He just talked to him about certain things. And then not too long after that, the brother decided to say to hell with it and just went out and started teaching. So like I said, this is the brother's page. I know I put it in the description box. I know a lot of brothers and the few sisters that do watch, I know most don't speak Spanish, so the brother is speaking in Spanish. But this is a beautiful thing, man. Barakatah Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for waking up his sheep. And that's a big thing, especially in these Latin American countries that are very poor. This was a way for this man to get out of his situation, but he chose through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and his work, in order to just, do this, as the apostles quoted yesterday, that he chose to suffer, with his people than to, live temporarily, good, like Moses did. All right, so, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for that. Now, to get to the essence of this lesson, which we're going to build off of Psalms 82, which is a part of it, which is all the foundations of the earth are out of course. Now, earlier, I was meditating, I didn't think the Spirit would hit me to do a lesson on this, but I was just thinking about this particular scripture. But I was thinking about just in general how America is, how the world is, and how everything is gearing towards a foul lifestyle, right? And that foul lifestyle would be Moism, butchism, freakism, and everything else that comes along with it. And that breaks down the moral fiber of a society. We've read many different times when empires came, they became wicked, or they came to their end, then they actually fell and were destroyed. And pretty much what we're seeing right now is the epitome of the wickedness that's being pushed around the earth, which is coming from none other place than America, Babylon the Great. Now, there's been Moism in the world before America. There's been all type of foul shit going on around the world. But America personifies it because the scriptures say that this woman, this harlot, she had a cup, and that cup was full of abominations. And she made the whole world to drink of those abominations. And the main ones that she made to drink of that cup were what? The kings of the earth, the rulers or the leaders of these different nations. You know? So that doesn't fit the Roman Catholic Church. That doesn't fit anybody else. That only fits America. You know, and these leaders of these different countries have been the ones to allow that type of lifestyle and these ideologies, you know, and the ways of America to infiltrate their society. So they are guilty. That's why in the book of 2nd Ezra, I believe that's the 15th chapter or the 16th chapter, it says, "Woe unto you, Asia, for you are partaker with her of her sins," or something along those lines. All right, so this is that place. So we're going to read this. This is a Psalm of Asaph. It says, "Unjust judgments rebuked." It says, "The Most High standeth in the congregation of the mighty." Right, and that's dealing with who? With the Israelites. "He judgeth among the gods." This is a cold cut to these individuals, you know, when we're dealing with the word God itself, or theos, you know, or however you want to say it. This is a cold cut right here, because this is talking about this is speaking about the judges, the magistrates, the leaders, the rulers that are in charge of watching over, you know, the congregation. And this is who the Most High judges amongst. Because there are many gods, but there is one God, and that power is Yahweh. You know, I'm trying to think of this other precept. Let me just type it in this way. I know it's in the book of Exodus. I just can't think of it. Here we go. "Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people." So who are the gods? The gods are the men that are set up in charge, the cabinet, so to speak, of the king, of the ruler. And he would set them up for what? To judge matters. This is why the leaders of Israel would do what? They would sit at the gate. You had the laws there. They would sit at the gates, and they would, whatever, you know, situation would come up, they would judge that matter. And whatever it was, they were not supposed to take bribes. They were not supposed to take gifts, because a gift destroyeth the heart. You know? So they were supposed to judge justly according to what the law said, and according to the two sides of these individuals that had a beef with each other. They were supposed to judge rightly. You see? And that's the whole purpose for a cabinet or nobles, you know, to be ruling in a particular kingdom, to officiate the business of the king and to enact the laws of that particular empire. In the case of Israel, we're dealing with the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Now, when we look up this word gods, right, the word there is what? Alahayim, which is the same word that's used in Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And that God there is Alahayim, which is a plural way or plural form in the Hebrew of saying God, or Allah, which is God. Alahayim is gods, plural. So this particular one, when it says thou shalt not revile the gods, it's talking about the rulers of your people. Because it says here, plural. Rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, gods. So you can have angels that are known as Alahayim, like in the case of Yahushai and the angels. But you also have rulers, magistrates, those that are set up in positions of authority to rule and govern over the people. These are the ones. And you have divine ones, which could be also angels, or it could be those that are divinely inspired, like the prophets. All right? So rulers, judges. And it goes on to give you more. You know, it gives you God, goddesses, godlike one. Works or special possession of the Most High, the true power. So it depends on what the context of the scripture is to be able to apply what it's speaking about. So going back, thou shalt not revile the gods, which is the what? The judges, the judges that are the magistrates that are among you. Like in the case with the Apostle Paul when he cursed out the high priest. But he said he didn't know that it was the high priest. You know, they said, do you revile the ruler of the Most High, or something like that, the high priest? He said, I wish not that it was a high priest, for it is written, thou shalt not revile the gods. You know? So that's what it's talking about. But these individuals, especially in the Renaissance Christian church, they have this etched notion of the teachings of Esau through Renaissance Christianity. And this is the problem, and this is what's pushing along this foul, degenerate type of lifestyle out here. You know, going back to Psalms chapter 82, let's read on. It says, how long will you judge unjustly and accept the person of the wicked? Selah, right? Because if you judge wrongly, yeah, you're going to get a reward for it. But don't you know that eventually down the line, you're going to have to pay for that? Something's going to come down the line where your actions or inactions are going to be judged. See? But if you rule right, you're supposed to do that and then have a clear conscience. But most people today are not taught, there's words for it right now. They're escaping me, but they're not taught to be righteous, for lack of better words. There's another word for it. You know, so what do? They take the other way. Because as the ruler of the people is, so are the people that are in that particular kingdom. The way Esau is the way that the majority of people run things. They're crooked, people are crooked. They're wicked, people are wicked. They have a wicked lifestyle. The aura around them and the people around them is a wicked lifestyle. It says, defend the poor and fatherless, do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy, rid them out of the hand of the wicked. And they're not doing that. Esau's not doing that. And Jake that get in certain positions to do this, they don't do it because they're officiating the business of the ones that hired them and put them in that position in the first place. That's why judgment never goes forth. Why? Because the wicked is in rulership. And they don't judge rightly. The only time they judge in anyone's favor is when it benefits them, not when it benefits anyone else, especially Jake. It says, they know not, neither will they understand. Yeah, because the wicked are not going to understand. They walk on in darkness, and they have the godlike power to keep the world in darkness. This is why the Lord said that this veil that's covering all these nations, he's going to remove it. And the ones that are part of the nation of Israel, that are part of the elect, are going to have that removed from them. And they're going to be able to see through this devil and see past and be able to make decisions that are not in that foul manner of this society. But it comes with consequences, you know. The scriptures speak about they do wrong to him, that even when he speaketh the right, I can't, Salaka, my memory right now is not, I'm not firing in all pistons mentally right now, I guess. But you brothers know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to read this since the brother put it up. It says, Ecclesiastes 10:1, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered, meaning what? They have very specific instructions on what to do. It says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. See? And the officers are who? The officers are the ones that officiate the business for the ruler. If the ruler's corrupt, they're corrupt. And then it goes and it trickles down. It says, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. Right. And that's why you see this foul, filthy, flagrant spirit that's in America and around the world because of America. An unwise king destroyeth his people. Right. But through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. And this is why the scriptures say that, woe unto you when princes eat in the morning. I forget exactly how it's worded in the book of Ecclesiastes. Why? Because I just lost my train of thought. Salakia. Lord's will, it'll come back. Ecclesiastes 10:4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. And this is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for Yahweh Shai to get his kingdom so that we can be established and righteousness can be established again. So it says they walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. We're going to get a couple of these words. Matter of fact, let's get a couple of these words and then we're going to deal with the word foundation. All the foundations. The word for foundation is mawasad. Mawasad. Yeah, mawasad. Which just says foundation. Doesn't really say a whole lot. And we go to the root word, which is yasad. And it says what? To found, fix, establish, lay, foundation. So you can have a foundation for a home, or you can have a foundation meaning a fixed date of something, or when something was established. Founded so and such on this day, here and so and such. All right? So a foundation also is not just a physical thing of a building, but it's also a spiritual thing. You know, different morals and instructions that you give to the people of your empire or of your city or of your town or whatever the case may be, to instruct them in the right way to go. But now if the ruler is corrupt and he teaches his people corruption, and the people see that corruption is where it's at, they're going to tend to go in that direction. That's why it says, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Neither go after many to wrestle judgment or something along those lines. So it says to found, establish, begin. To fix or seat themselves close together, sit in conclave. You know, as you have these devils in the Roman Catholic Church, conclave means with key. You know, and that's what they do. Whenever they set up appointments to set up a new pope, they sit in these rooms. Who knows what kind of freakism is going on in there. And they don't come out until, I don't know if it's a black smoke or white smoke or whatever the hell it is that they blow out. And which means they picked or chose the new pope. All right, to be found. So you get the idea. So what I did, right? Matter of fact, before we get to that, matter of fact, no, you know what? I'm going to get it. I typed in on the Google, what happens when a foundation is off. So I got here, have you been putting off foundation repair, dealing with actual foundations? Here's 10 reasons why that might not be the best idea, right? Then we jump down to the reasons. Number 1, continuously escalating repair costs. Because when you have a home, you have to constantly maintain it. Whether it's the foundation, checking the foundation, examine it, make sure everything is running well, make sure the plumbing is good, make sure, if there's any cracks or, if the windows don't open correctly or the doors are not shutting correctly, why is that? So on and so forth. There's a constant maintenance that you have to have when you get a home. And see, when Jake buys homes, they're thinking on the mindset of stacking money. I'm going to buy this crib, then I'm going to rent out, one of the floors to somebody, and that money is going to be used to go towards the mortgage, and I'm going to stack the rest of it, blah, 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 blah. But they're not thinking, because they're thinking, okay, I buy the home, rent it, get the money. They're not thinking of all of the repairs that go into this house, the maintenance of the house. If you have a yard, you have to constantly trim the bushes, cut the grass. There's a lot involved in dealing with a home. And most Jakes do not think of that because they're thinking about just making that money. All right. Continuously escalating repair costs. Why? Because if the foundation is off, there's always going to be something that's going to go bad or wrong within the home. 2, spreading structural damage. Right. Which means that eventually that foundation cracks. Part of the house may sink in one corner or the other or in the middle. And there's going to be structural damage because if the foundation is not secured, if the foundation is not set correctly, then the weight of that building tends to shift and shit happens. Earth shifts, Number 3, water damage. Right. If your foundation is cracked, sometimes water gets in there, creates water damage. You might have a finished basement. Plumbing nightmares galore. There was another one that I read that was better than this. Nasty insect infestation, mold and mildew invasions, increased utility bills. This wasn't the one that I actually had. Let me see something. Lord's will, I could find the one that I had, because this one is kind of not the one. Let me see something. Yeah, this is one of them. But what? You know what? Let's go to the number 2. That's what it was. This is what I read. Spreading structural damage. Foundations are just that, foundational. When a foundation is weakened, it causes a domino effect, see? Putting excessive stress and strain on the structure it was designed to support. Why? Because no longer is it sound anymore, because it's falling apart. Walls, floors, ceilings, wooden cross beams, upstairs walls, doors, window frames, attached garages, seemingly all elements can be affected by an unsteady foundation, and there is no telling how extensive the structural damage may be if structural degradation is allowed to progress indefinitely. So you have to constantly maintain it. So in a foundation of a society, there are morals and laws and things that are supposed to be enacted in place to run those things properly. Now, Esau says that America was founded upon quote unquote Christian values. So why is it that they don't apply those same Christian values, which they claim that come out of the Bible, 1983 being made the year of the Bible by President Reagan? So how come we don't see the virtues and laws, statutes, and commandments of the scriptures being pushed out here? Why do we see everything else that is contrary to what the scriptures say being pushed? Because the wicked are in rulership. So what's happening with that is it's structurally, destroying the moral fiber of this place, and that's what's bringing this place down. Remember, the Lord told Belshazzar that he has been weighed in the balance and has been found wanting. So these devils have been weighed in the balance and they've been found wanting. That's why ultimately they're going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction and the lasers from the chariots, because that is the final judgment for a nation when it lives wicked like that. Another thing I've typed in, well, actually I didn't type it in, I just ran across it. It says, can a house collapse from foundation issues? The first question that comes to mind is, can a house collapse from foundation issues? The answer is yes. However, it is also not that simple. It can take years to develop a serious foundational issue that would cause your home to collapse. In most cases, if it does, it's concentrated on a specific area of the home. In this case, it's the whole home. And as you can see in the picture, the foundation is cracked, which makes, see all of this? You start to get structural damage. Shit doesn't work right. Your door don't open correctly. The door is off center. The windows are off. And the whole house shifts, which throws everything off of level. And when everything is off of level, things don't work right. Whenever you try to open up a window and you're struggling and you're having a hard time opening that window, that means that window was not installed properly, or that the actual house is off. You see? So that's just applied, pretty much to what you see going on. Now, there was a precept that came to mind. Oh, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 10. And I believe it's 18. Right. By much slothfulness the building decayeth, and through idleness of the hands the house droppeth through. And that's what we're seeing right now. The house of America, Babylon the Great, dropping through. Because there's been slothfulness and there's been a decay in the society. Because they didn't maintain the so-called basic fundamental principles that they claimed were the beginnings of this society. So-called Christian values. All right. Now let's go. What do we have here? Okay, we read that already. Let's go to Isaiah 19 and 14. It says, the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. So meaning everything that is done here from a foundational standpoint is totally corrupt. It's a perverse spirit, and that causes a domino effect. Just like when a foundation is not properly set up, it causes the rest of the building to fall apart. And we know through the scriptures that when we go to 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter, and let me find the verse real quick. I'm just going straight to the point. Now, you know what? Let me start at 9. For we are laborers together with the Most High. You are the Most High's husbandry. You are the Most High's building. A building requires what? Maintenance. And then maintenance requires what? Money, finance. So what is the finance or the money that is used to keep this building going? The words, the understanding, the breakdowns of the scriptures. You know? And it has to be kept tight, because if not, the building falls apart. As you see what's happening right now with HODC and the madness that they're teaching. I just finished watching Elder Apostle Tar's video that he did. You know, I've been having to watch him in part, because some of the videos are a little long. So sometimes you might watch 45 minutes, you might watch an hour, and try to get through them because there's a lot of information, So I just finished watching that video this morning, and you see that there's a foundational problem there. Because they're not following the foundation that was laid. They veered. So their foundation is off. So the whole building is falling apart. It says, according to the grace of the Most High, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahushua HaMashiach. So that is the foundation. And what did Yahushua say about a foundation that is not set up properly? Well, let's go to Matthew 7 and 24. It says right here, it says the two foundations. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon what? A rock. What is that rock? Yahushua is that rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. It had a proper foundation. But the case be that it doesn't have a proper foundation, what's going to happen? It's going to fall apart. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. Why? Because the foundation wasn't built upon Yahushua, even though they claim that America is a God-fearing country. On the back of their dollar bills, say, in God we trust, in their money, in their court systems. But what God are they talking about? Because they obviously are not talking about the God of the Bible, Yahweh, or his son, Yahushua, because none of their actions match what the Bible says, unless it's speaking about something that's wicked. But the virtues of the scriptures and the things that continue an empire and kingship are not being practiced here. And that's what it says, all the foundations of the earth are out of course. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, Revelation, we're going to go back to Isaiah, Revelation 11 and 8. And their dead bodies, meaning what? The Israelites' dead bodies, not physically, but spiritually, shall lie in the street of the great city. What is this great city? America. It's not talking about the Roman Empire, the Roman Catholic Church. It's talking about America, that great city, which ruleth over the whole earth, as we read in Revelation 17. The Roman Catholic Church is not ruling over the whole world. Because if that was the case, you would have no other religion but the RCC religion governing over all of these different nations. And that's not the case. It says, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Why was it spiritually called Sodom? And what was Sodom known for? That was the head city of those 5 cities that were steeped deep in Moism. And what happened? The Lord came down and took them out. Bring it out. Salakia. Let's prove that. Let's go to Genesis 19:1. It says, the doom of Sodom. And there came 2 angels of Sodom at evening, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, nay, but we will abide in the street all night. Now, why did Lot say that to them? Because he understood the freakism that was going on. Because, the freaks come out at night, right? So he understood the freakism that went on out there. So he wanted them to come under his roof for protection. They're like, nah, we good. And because he didn't know that they were angels. And he pressed upon them greatly because he already knew what was going on. Remember, it says that Lot was vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. So it speaks about them that are, how does that go in Ezekiel 9? Set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that cry and that sigh for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So if you're not in that spirit of sighing and crying for all of this wickedness that's going on, then there might be something wrong with you. It says, and they turned in unto him and entered into his house, and he made them a feast and did bake unleavened bread and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young. So you have some old moles, crusty ass old moles, young moles, all the people from every quarter. Because you know what this is like? This is like prison. Fresh meat. That freak fest that goes on in there. Because of these fucking devils. Depriving men of women. So what do? They're going to turn on each other. So they looked at the 2 angels as fresh meat. So every goddamn body in there, all these men, both old and young, from all the different quarters of Sodom came there. For one purpose and one purpose only. To have sex with those 2 men, which they didn't know were angels. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us that we may know them. Meaning so that they could have sex with them. Now I went to the different translations, and I believe the elder Karatazad of the Vegas camp actually went into this before. I'm just going to read like the end part of it. Bring them out to us that we may know them carnally. Bring them out to us so we can have sex with them. Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them. And you get the idea. And what is that? That's Moism. Right? And what happened? As you read on further down into the history, they were Sodom, Gomorrah, Zoar, Zeboim, and Admah were all destroyed by nuclear fire, pretty much. Brimstone, fire and brimstone that rained down from heaven. So the Lord caused all of those elements to fuse together and create nuclear fire to destroy these 5 cities. And this is something that's in history. They know about it. They know they've done archaeological research and digs. They have down at the Dead Sea, at the bottom of the Dead Sea, they say that the 5 cities were in that area. And it makes sense because remember when Lot chose the land, he went towards the place that was watered. And that's where Sodom was at. Further down from the Jordan River. You had the Dead Sea, which you have something called the Dead Sea Scrolls. So it was what? Destroyed. Why? because of their lifestyle. That was the foundation of that place, so the Lord destroyed it. Let's see what else we got. Let's go to 2 Peter 2:5. And spare not the old world, but save Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, because he was a prophet, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly. Why? Let's go to this real quick. Genesis 8 and you know what? Now let's go to the 6th chapter. See, these are all examples as we're going to read in 2 Peter. Genesis 6:5. And the Most High saw the wickedness of man, wickedness of man. Let me read that again. And the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord, which Noah and his family, they represented the elect back then. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generation, and Noah walked with the Most High. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence. So how much more now when it's compiled on top, It says, and the Most High looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. The Most High created man upright, and they sought out many inventions. So how much more now in these times? So going back to 2 Peter 2:6, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow. Why? Because of their filthy lifestyle. Making them what? An ensample unto those who that after should live ungodly. Right. So you have an example. You have the history. You have the archaeological digs of these things that took place and the reason why they took place. So why would you put yourself in that position to be destroyed like they were destroyed? Well, it's all in the plans of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, which shows you that man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own ways? Because anybody in their right mind would have said, you know what? Nah, I ain't going to mess with that because look how they got destroyed. We can't push that on a society that we claim to be Christian. It says, and deliver just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing, vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. You see? And that's why he was urging the 2 angels to come under his roof. Because he knew what going out there, So going back to Isaiah 19, the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. And I believe this perverse, the word here perverse, is to turn around. Ayam, distorting, perverting, warping, right? When you warp something, you take it out of its original form. And that's what they've done. They turned everything upside down. Woe to you that call evil good and good evil. Right, iniquity, perverse, which perverse or perversion is pretty much iniquity, which is compounded sin. Sin on top of sin on top of sin on top of sin on top of sin. So the Lord did this. Who did this? The Most High did this. The Lord Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit. Matter of fact, let's look up the word mingled. Masak, to mix, mingle, produce by mixing, to pour, mix, right? So the Lord is the one that mingled all this stuff together. Why? Because he's doing it for his purpose. A perverse spirit in the midst thereof. So it's a perverse spirit. It's not just perversion or iniquity. It's a perverse spirit. So there's an actual spirit out there that jumps on these people to do these things. You see, like the Apostle Paul mentioned. Because they did not like to retain the Most High in their mind, the Lord gave them over to what? A reprobate mind. So the Lord mingled that perverse spirit in the midst of Egypt. And we know this ain't talking about ancient Egypt. It's talking about modern day Egypt when we go to Revelation 11 and 8. And their dead bodies, Israel's bodies, mentally dead, shall lie in the street of the great city, America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. See? So they're known spiritually as Sodom and Egypt. It says where also our Lord was crucified. It doesn't mean actually crucified, like, because he was crucified in Jerusalem. But this means that he was crossed out. Because when most people think about the Lord, they think about a so-called white person. You could go on Google, type in God, watch the images that come up. You could type in so-called Jesus, and you could see the images that come up. All images of so-called white people. All right? So this is where he was crucified or crossed out. So this place is that Sodom and Egypt. And that's why all the foundations of the earth are out of course. Let's see. Let's go back. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. This is Psalms 82 and 5. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. They're all out of whack. The word course is mawat. To totter, shake, slip. So when something is tottering, it's like a fence, or it causes a domino effect. Totter. Move in a feeble or unsteady way. Right, like when we were reading about the foundation of a home. So when the foundation is weak, guess what? The building is in danger of falling apart. So this society spiritually is weak. So they're in danger of collapsing, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Of a structure shaken or sway as if about to collapse. Right. And you also have a domino effect. A feeble or unsteady gait. So you have a domino effect. And you know what happens when you push one domino. Once that domino is in motion and it touches the next one, boom, it just keeps on going until all those dominoes fall. Teeter, see? Stagger, wobble, stumble, dotter. Now there's a scripture, I believe that's Psalm 62, about a tottering fence, I think it is. Right. Psalm 62 and 3. How long will you imagine mischief against a man? You shall be slain, all of you. As a bowing wall shall you be, and as a tottering fence. Right, because the wall is all connected. And if one part of the wall starts to fall, guess what? That whole wall is going to eventually fall, because it's going to follow suit, because it's all connected. So that's a tottering fence. Let's see what the word tottering says here. The word tottering, decha. To push, thrust, chase, overflow, totter, soar, drive away or out, be outcast, be cast down. To push, push violently. To thrust down, cast down. All right. Like a domino effect. It all falls apart. So it says shake or slip. So everything is out of course, which means everything is going to fall and collapse. Because all the foundations of the earth are out of course. Why? Because the main leader of the so-called free world, America, Babylon the Great, has pushed that Babylonian juice, that foul, filthy, abominable cup into the mouth of all these nations, and they're following right behind her footsteps. So America's going to fall, and this whole demonic wicked system. Because Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say, Shalom.